Hashem and people could not be more opposite, more different. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is completely unknowable, completely transcendent, and wholly other. Kadosh, 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 we say. Hashem is as the Kuzari explains, Kadosh means difference. When we say Kadosh, 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 we're saying he is totally and completely other, completely and totally different from us. We are finite, he is infinite. And so the human apparatus of comprehension, of understanding, of experiencing, of processing, of taking in data, of looking around and understanding something is totally incompatible with that which is God. Meaning, when we take a substance, when we take an item, we have a certain apparatus that is the human being, that we can take that item and we can try and understand it, we can process it, we can internalize it, and take some way of integrating that knowledge into our system, knowledge of that entity that we're looking at. But when the entity that we're looking at is God, this apparatus is totally incapable of doing that. It's what philosophers would call a categorical error. It's like asking, what color is an E minor? Well, it's not a color. That question is off. What color is an E minor? Or what sound does blue make? It's off. So the apparatus, as the word I keep using, this being that is the human being, and our sensory abilities, our cognitive mind, our intellect, our intuition, our ability to look at something and understand it is totally incongruent with trying to understand God. It's like trying to use sound to measure color or color to measure sound. It's totally off. And yet, we have a mitzvah of emunah. We have a mitzvah of dveikus. We have a mitzvah of avas Hashem, of yiras Hashem, of yedias Hashem. We have all these mitzvos that tell us to know Hashem. So how is that possible? And what this really is about is the core, really the most essential point, the essence, the most fundamental piece of the difference between God of the prophet and God of the philosopher. God of the philosopher is a being in the way that we described so far. And we as people are beings in the way that we described so far. Totally and completely in different sides of the world, literally and figuratively. But the God of the prophet is actually the God of the Torah, Hashem of the Torah, Hashem of Chazal, of the Nevi'im, is actually a Hashem that describes himself as getting angry, describes himself as being happy, of having nachas, of having pleasure, is a God that describes himself as having regret, is a God that the Gemara describes as actually crying every single day, is a God that has longing and desire, is a God that chose to say, yes, there is this chasm that exists between me up here and them down here. This apparatus as the human being cannot comprehend, cannot process or take me in as I am. And so you know what I want to do, says Hashem? I want to move from being the God of the philosophers, from being Kadosh, 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 to being God of the prophet, to becoming the Hashem that is knowable, that is sensible, that is able to be comprehended on some level by this apparatus known as the human being, that is able to be engaged in a relationship and in an experience. So Hashem says, I'm going to lower myself in a way that you can know me, so that you can know me, so that I can be known. Because all I want, because the thing that I want most is to know and be known, is to be connected, is to be engaged in a relationship with Yisrael Asher B'cha Espa'er, with the Jewish people, with humanity, with the world, with human beings. I want that relationship. I crave that relationship. And so I'm going to take this thing that is all the way out here, and I'm going to filter it down into some way that can be understood, can be apprehended and sensed and experienced and engaged in a meaningful relationship. So I'm going to make myself appear. I'm going to create a form of myself in some way. I'm going to manifest myself, emanate myself, constrict myself, so that now I can be relatable. I can be accessible to the human being, to the human mind, to the human body, to the human perceptions, to the human sensory experiences, so that we can have that intimate and close relationship. So much so that the Gemara will go to the extent of, according to the Maharsha, the Gemara Brachos describes prayer, tefillah, as an experience of pillow talk between the human and God, like a husband and wife lying in bed pillow talking. That's how near our experience of godliness becomes. Because Hashem of the Torah, Hashem of Chazal, Hashem of the Nevi'im, is a Hashem that chose to make himself to be able to be accessed through the ways that we can access this world. And that very action itself is the greatest expression of Hashem saying, I want you. Ki chashak Hashem bachem, I desire you. That itself, the fact that Hashem decides to take that which is up here and bring it down to become accessible to us. And that's what the Meor Einayim here is talking about, that Hashem is saying to us in creating this world and creating and giving us the Torah. He's saying to us, I'm coming down so that I can be connected with you.